Okay, getting started. Which is always the hardest part. I find that I tend to dance around a little bit and then plunge right in, generally covering myself in mud or grime of some kind and then emerging on the opposite side, no worse for wear. So to that end, presenter, host, I think is what we're talking about here, and more specifically, what makes a good one and would I be that? I think that you're probably in a better seat than I am for judging the second, but for the first I definitely have my opinions. I certainly have watched a lot of natural history documentaries over the last 30-odd years. I had a little shrine to Attenborough in my childhood bedroom for a while till it was discovered. And stuff today. I think there's a couple different trends that are going on, both of which are obviously very entertaining. They're selling well. The over-caffeinated hyper hosts, I think they're a lot of fun to watch. They've generated a tremendous amount of interest in some important subjects, and I think that's great. And then you have the other side, the Planet Earth type documentaries with more disembodied voice acting, which is fantastic as well. I think I'd be, as riveting as it sounds, somewhere in the middle of the road. I definitely am passionate about the subject matter, and I believe that the subject matter should be just that. But I'm passionate enough that I certainly want to get right in there, find the story, help create the story, not necessarily jump from a helicopter onto a rhinoceros with a team of natives wrangling it to the ground so we can get a shot of its eyeball, but you know, something a step down, like actually getting the crew in an exciting fashion close enough to get those shots which are so difficult to get, and then stepping back and letting the cameraman and the subject matter do their work. The cameraman have the hardest jobs and the subject matter has the easiest job because it's just focused on doing what it's doing. It actually sort of reminds me of a good metaphor for what I'm talking about in terms of the role of the host, and it's something I heard from my favorite professors as an undergraduate in a drama class. And he was talking about what makes a good actor, and he was talking about focus. And he said, if you take the finest actor the world's ever produced with the finest piece of dramatic literature, you put them on the stage next to a dog, and the dog will embarrass them because the dog is the most focused thing in the room. And I think that definitely translates very well to natural history documentary, where you need to decide whether your story is about your host or is your story about the subject matter. While that host may be very focused on, wrangling the animal to the ground or holding it right up into the camera lens so you can get a really good look down its throat, it's not really watching the animal in its natural environment. You're not getting that experience of seeing this super focused, amazing creature or ecosystem. It's not just about individual animals. We're talking about the whole kit and caboodle of natural history documentary subject matter. So that's pretty much where I stand there. I think I like to get in there, get psyched, and then step back. I guess the other part of this is, who the hell are you and why am I watching you? Well, my name is Dave Heithaus. I've worked in natural resources, ecology, and biology for about 10 years now. I've been very, very lucky to collect some very bizarre jobs in a variety of interesting places, as well as a series of non-terminal degrees at universities who will still acknowledge me, even though the degrees were non-terminal. Basically, I'm someone who has lived outdoors. I love getting muddy. I love sharing those experiences with other people. As a presenter or a host, I think I would bring a lot of honesty and sincerity, hopefully a bit of humility and a slight sense of humor, which may have already had you turn this off, but if it didn't, then maybe at some point there'll be something that I'd fit on. And if not, thanks very much for your time and good luck with everything.